So let's break down what we're actually creating inside this ocean of energy. Let's talk about thought forms, egregores, and what people on the internet nowadays often call entities. Everything begins with a thought. A thought form is the source code. It's the executable code at the core of reality itself. It's a vibration that determines where energy will flow. You can think of it as a direct command sent into the quantum field. When a thought first appears, it has no consciousness of its own, no autonomy. It's completely under your control. But if you keep running that thought over and over again, feeding it with emotion, something interesting happens. It starts to become independent. And this is where a critical fork in the road appears. Either you lose administrator privileges and the code turns into a parasite, or you consciously create a powerful accelerator for your own growth. If you don't control your thought forms, you're essentially spamming the system with random requests 24/7. Instead of building a structured reality, you generate informational noise. A parasite isn't intelligent. It's just a looping script. A self-repeating algorithm designed to survive through your attention. And once that loop becomes strong enough, the roles reverse. You're no longer thinking the thought is thinking you. The algorithm hijacks your processor and continuously consumes system resources. But when you consciously invest energy into discipline, mastery, purpose, or constructive habits, something very different emerges. You create an optimizer, a background assistant, an internal process that handles routine calculations for you and frees up valuable resources. Your efficiency increases. Your energy throughput expands. Your thought isn't just an abstract concept. It's the primary executable code from which your reality unfolds. Now here's the interesting part. Every program operating within this dimension can be divided into two categories based on how energy flows through it. Destructive patterns operate in a low-frequency mode. Constructive patterns operate in a high-frequency mode. Low-frequency patterns are survival programs. Their purpose is to lock consciousness into repetitive loops of fear, scarcity, and reaction. The system enters a closed-cycle discharge mode. Nobody is stealing your energy. Your energy is being consumed internally by running destructive scripts. Resentment, fear, anger. These are powerful containment programs. They artificially limit your processing power and keep your awareness operating within survival mode. Because a human being is easier to control when trapped in fear, need, and confusion. Every time you generate fear, anger, or desperation, your internal transmitter becomes tuned to that frequency. But here's the twist. These frequencies are also part of the learning process. They're tools for understanding through contrast. Resistance builds strength. Challenges develop awareness. You create these experiences yourself in order to discover the limits of your own influence. That's why fighting low frequencies doesn't really work. You can't wage war against a signal you're broadcasting yourself. You're the author of that geometry. And when you become trapped in repetitive loops, you're feeding the cycle with your own attention. The only thing you can do is change the station, change the frequency. Now let's talk about high-frequency structures. These are growth programs, expansion programs, patterns that push perception beyond its current limitations and increase bandwidth to the larger energy field. This isn't about being good. It isn't about being light. It's simply a state of unrestricted data flow, the default operating mode of the system, a condition where connection happens without losses. Unlike destructive scripts, constructive structures don't need your energy to survive. They operate from abundance. Imagine your transmitter as a solar panel. The sun doesn't ask for anything in return. It simply radiates energy. The panel receives it if it's clean enough. We've been trained to vibrate at the frequency of survival, fear, scarcity, constant noise. But the moment you switch off that noise, something changes. Your receiver automatically locks onto a different signal. The source was never absent. The broadcast has been active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't need to search for it. Your task isn't to acquire something external. Your task is to remove interference. As soon as the background noise of fear and scarcity disappears, your system naturally reconnects to the frequency of order. It's like restoring the factory settings of your biological machine, and the result is what people often call flow state. The processor operates at its intended capacity. No overheating, no lag, no wasted resources. Just clean execution, clean decisions, and the ability to generate remarkably effective outcomes beyond what the limitations of the matrix seem to allow.